Welcome everybody back to the Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain Red Sofa here at Digital Strategies in Nashville, where I'm joined once again with great pleasure by Gerardo de la Torre, Regional Senior Director of Supply Chain Management across the Americas for Nissan. And as many of you know who have kept up with our series, leading important digital initiatives, compliance, has strong responsibilities across Mexico and Brazil. And Gerardo, it's really been a pleasure to be able to share this digital journey with you, both for this event and Nissan the past couple of years, and we've continued that at the event again this week. And I wanted to start really with the re-Nissan plan, the re-Nissan recovery and launch plan, for which you've also been framing some of your supply chain strategy around resilience and in the context of re-Nissan. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing in the context of this plan and why it's so important for your operations.
Thank you, Christopher, once again for the invitation, and hello to everyone. Re-Nissan strategic corporate plan has been successfully deployed and successfully implemented. One of our core responsibilities after decisions were taken was about the resetting of our manufacturing capacities. Over the last 7 months, it was necessary to shut down some of the operations projects we have in Argentina, in Cuernavaca, in Mexico, and one of our factories in Aguascalientes. But it was necessary to transfer all the manufacturing production processes for pickup from Argentina and Cuernavaca to Aguascalientes. And that created a significant challenge within a very short period of time to reset all our supply chain once again. All the deliveries and all the destinations were properly done. There was a lot of advantage of our digital tools to enable the spec management, the coordination of all our ordering and all the operations to set up the new manufacturing production process in Aguascalientes. I'm very glad and very honored to share that the project was successfully executed. He's been ranked again as he was one of the winners for the fiscal year 25 German Awards. We are already on mass production. Very proud of all the activity that was done with all our partners, logistics partners, all our suppliers, all the flows, because we are live. Just please be mindful that this project was executed within less than 6 months.
Yeah.
Just to understand the magnitude of the speed.
And for those who don't follow, that kind of project would normally take 2 or 3 years.
Now, this also meant under the re-Nissan, it also meant that because re-Nissan was launched at the time of almost at the time of announcement of the tariffs, this also meant a massive restructuring of our manufacturing capacities here in USA. Our Smyrna plant was able to significantly increase and produce more local cars that are exempt of tariffs, that also created a massive advantage in our operations, and even highly recognized that the execution of all the incremental of local production, then the reshuffling of our capacities in Mexico to many other countries give us, I believe, the closing of one of the best years in the execution of the re-Nissan plan, with a very positive and better contribution of our financials and sales plan, etc. So very proud of the team. And once again, thank you all for your great collaboration.
So obviously great examples there. And as you said, this was successful in large part because of the teamwork, collaboration, digital tools that enabled you to make these adaptations so fast. Less than 6 months is remarkable. I know projects like that would often take at least a year, 2 years to execute. One of the important projects, Gerardo, that we've spoken about as well at this event and over the last couple of years is the tier N supplier database and supplier mapping that you and your team kicked off, I think I would say a bit over 2 years ago. And this is, as I understand it, really evolving. You spoke about some of the new capabilities you're gaining from this. Can you give our audience a sense for what that uncovers?
Well, thank you. It's a very good question, because the tier N database that we have successfully integrated, and again, thank you very much to all our tier 1 suppliers in the entire Americas and even from Asia countries. We have practically consolidated more than 95% of the total commodities per list. This has given us the capabilities, together with our suppliers, under our non-disclosure agreement and restricted confidentiality, of course, to navigate initially, like 2 years ago, through all the human rights and supply chain due diligence validations. That was, in my mind, the main priority when we started. Thanks to the digital tools and the efficiencies of the digital tool, it was so effective to expand, example, to our collaboration with all our Brazilian or Latin American suppliers. And on top of the initial intentions to deep dive into the due diligence from human rights validations, it was possible to then start to see another great opportunities. Example, US tariff mitigation by the full validation together with our suppliers on the US content from tier N, tier 4, tier 3s, tier 2s into the tier 1 suppliers based in Mexico. Meaning, one supplier in Mexico that import goods from other countries, usually in their parts price, they never split on what is the content by different sources.
Yeah.
Thanks to the component supply chain charts, or what we call the TRN data, it was very efficient and very easy to identify how many components, how much of the raw material you are buying from USA. Together with the supplier, it was clear to document, and thanks to a very fast expansion of our digital tool, it was possible to consolidate all the value per each of the commodities final purchase price on what was the proportion of US content. This has been a remarkable activity because now we have, together with the key departments in Nissan, have been able to properly document and send the request to the authorities to aim for the 25% exemption values. We expect this to be like a very strong additional contribution following the rules and the laws and the requirements. But once again, thanks to the availability of the TRN sourcing data. Another great example that we have seen is that now we are starting to additionally find out mechanisms to mitigate potential semiconductor supply risk. Everyone knows that there is a shortage of memory DRAM components, and thanks to the availability of our CLCC data, TRN data, it's been possible, Christopher, to now identify by who is the chip maker, where the chip maker is located, what is, in many of the cases, the specific chip part number or semiconductor part number that is enabling us to react faster, too much faster than the way that we reacted in 2021 within the semiconductor crisis. And on top of that, we are now exploring additional opportunities to how can we merge tier 3s or tier 4s inbound logistics with our tier 1 or our own logistics, meaning I think we can make a massive improvement if we find the mechanisms to connect TMS system from tier 1 to TMS system that we Nissan operate in such a way that we may be able and capable to bundle flows from long distance that could represent a massive cost reduction opportunity for our tier 1 and for our operations. Another great application we have found through cybersecurity prevention on tier N suppliers. We faced several cases where one of the tier 3s components was faced a cyber attack. They were disrupted, and thanks to the availability of the information, we were able to understand who were the tier 2s, who were the tier 1s, and in a very proactive way, together with tier 1s, with engineering, with raw materials teams, it was possible to find out alternative materials, or especially to mitigate the disruption of the supply. So definitively, I'm more and more convinced that the TRN sourcing database is giving us new capabilities thanks to the digital tools and the digital availability and the digital utilization and analysis that is coming from this powerful database within a relatively very short necessary time. So again, thank you to all our suppliers for this great collaboration.
Absolutely, yeah, and as you say, this sort of was started as the principally to mitigate and manage compliance issues, has evolved into these extra capabilities, and I take kind of just at the start of it, you see more opportunities to enhance the digital tools, to enhance the analysis, to integrate other sorts of perhaps AI and analytics into that.
Yes. Is what we have just practically done over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
It was necessary to expand the capabilities of digital tool to now capture systematically, because this needs to be fully traceable, right?
Yes.
I really appreciate the speed of the reaction because in less than few days, I cannot say even weeks, it was possible to get these new capabilities, and the tool is again becoming a major communication tool and really depository data that enables, I believe, a quick reaction. And again, this has been one of our strong pillars to continue towards our resiliency in supply chain in Nissan.
Absolutely. I think maybe I'll just pick on one or two of those examples that you gave. I mean, the tariff mitigation is an unexpected perhaps benefit compared to when we started this project a few years ago.
Yeah.
The tariffs weren't implemented at least not in the same way. You know, how were you able to use this information? Did it depend really on deeper mapping into the tier 2, tier 3? Was that quite unexpected what you discovered?
Yeah, the tool enabled us to create maps, location, address, etc. And the immediate process that we follow was, first of all, the deep dive on everything that comes from the USA, no matter if there is a tier 5, tier
Right.
4, tier 3, that's the power contribution in this case, number one. Number two, it was clear to identify company names, address, location, states, what is the company profile, what they produce to many other suppliers in the automotive industry or even outside of the automotive industry. Then I believe the more efficient step was to sit down again with our tier ones and to review together what is the information, what it says, and confirm what is the proportional cost. This was done by the suppliers with their financial teams, what is the proportional cost of the US content. And in simple, by making this cross collaboration, it was possible to start to elevate the clear documentation of tier N US content. Again, I'm very proud of the speed of the execution thanks to the availability of the digital tools.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that will be important because you need a process, as you said earlier, that's traceable, also repeatable.
Yeah.
Because as we know, the supply chain evolves. When you have model changes, model updates, new launches, new models, one needs to continuously adapt and analyze this.
And if there is a need for an audit or a validation of numbers, values, etc., everything is digitally available. So
Yeah.
it's handles. That's for me is really the most remarkable point in this new example of the application of the collaboration we have developed with our suppliers. So again, thank you.
Absolutely. So the last point, or one of the points that you also mentioned, is the opportunity for end-to-end logistics optimization. You're really looking to reduce waste and inefficiency between the tier N suppliers. What kind of opportunities do you see, and how do you think that needs to be executed? Because obviously it might be a little more complicated than just calling them up and saying, join our truck, right? So
this is like one of the emerging new initiatives. But what I see is this: we have the availability already, and we may need again to expand. What else should we connect? I think that's one of the key elements. Why? Because we have our tier N database, and inside our production control system, we have another type of data that is being linked to, example, our TMS systems. So our Nissan systems are operating within our scope of collaboration. But something that I believe can be extremely powerful is that what if we connect our Nissan TMS system with you, Mr. Tier 1, your TMS system. I am sure that thanks to the CSCC or Tier N data, you and I are bringing same components from the same locations in North America, in Asia, in Europe, to the same final destination. So what if we merge? What if we avoid you paying rates and we are paying rates to bring parts to the same, let's say, geographical location? I think the core opportunity is by taking advantage of the tier N data with our suppliers, can we find out how to optimize? I believe connecting TMS system and then providing cubics, transportation, distance, and then making like digital recommendations on how we can implement that would be an important efficiency opportunities. And again, I'm very interested to start to develop this type of new capabilities soon. It's not there yet, but it will come.
I think thank you. I think that's a great call to action to our audience. Looking for help. How can we connect these tools, which many OEMs, tier ones, use or build up and contain a lot of important information. But the key is how they link up and communicate with one another. That will take standards. That will take a certain amount of trust. Obviously, collaboration, but can be very powerful. So.
It's like making a bill of material, not only from my tier one parts, but tier one plus tier N for me and for the supplier at the same time, in such a way that the calculation of the transportation is efficiently considering both needs. Again, I'm more than open to listen whomever wants to be part of this great collaboration. And as I said in the past, we are very open to find out who are our key next necessary strategic partners. So
well, we're certainly absolutely. Well, we're definitely sharing that call to action with our audience who are live in Nashville this week. Those of you who unfortunately can't be with us, make sure to get in touch. By all means, get in touch with us at Automotive Logistics. We'll be sure to make the connections wherever possible. Gerardo, thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Christopher.
Really, this journey is. We always talk about digital transformation as a journey, and I think what's been exciting with you is over 3 years now to see tremendous progress and still a lot to do.
Thank you. My final comment, I really want to thank all our Nissan teams in all the different departments. I think it's been outstanding, the great cross-functional collaboration. I really express my sincere appreciation from the very bottom of my heart, because I think we all are strong because we work as one team.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Let's keep that up. Follow more from Gerardo and the Nissan team here at Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain, and follow us on LinkedIn for more highlights from the event. We'll see you real soon.